Hi everyone, welcome to Missy's Makings. We are going to learn today one of my late grandfather's favorites. It's called French silk pie, but growing up he always called it chauffeur's pie. I don't know why. I'm sure asked my mom why. I have no idea. But that's what he called it, and we would make two pies for Easter, and one was always his, I think. But he loved it. It's a chocolate pie, essentially, and I'm going to show you how to make that. So I'm going to move the camera down so you can see some of the ingredients that we'll be using. So hopefully you can see. Okay. So we have right here, I'm going to use my KitchenAid, and you can do this if you don't have a KitchenAid. It's just exhausting because you have to beat. We have 3 eggs, and you can tell this is my recipe card that I've used it quite a bit. So it's usually a pie I don't make, but only during like Thanksgiving, Easter, you know, special things, because it is such a rich pie. And so you need a mixer and a beater, beaters. So because what we will have to do is beat each of these eggs for 5 minutes each. Okay, so, and that is probably the best kept secret for this pie, is that you need 3 room temperature eggs, so leave them for about an hour. Then we have some shortening. You'll need that, and we're not going to use full 2/6 of butter. It's 3/4 cup of butter, so it's 1 cup and like 4 tablespoons of that. So, and they have to be softened. You don't want hard butter at all for this. Then you will need some vanilla, and you'll need cocoa, and I tend to get, like I do with my yeast, I get it in bulk and put it in there. You'll need some regular sugar, and then you could put this filling in any kind of pie crust that you want. Today I'm going to be using an already made like shortbread. This is shortbread, or like graham cracker. I've done it before, and they used to have like a chocolate. They used to make an Oreo one, but I've not been able to find that. But you can put it in a regular cooked pie crust, your favorite pie crust recipe. But you need to have it already just cooked the shell, and then let it cool to put the filling in, because then you want to store this pie in the refrigerator before you serve it. So so let's get to it. This is, like I said, this is my grandfather's favorite pie. I miss him every day. And so he was from Scotland, his family, and I believe it would have been his grandfather who was the first one over, but one of my family members could probably correct me if I'm wrong, came over from Scotland. So here we go. So we put all of our ingredients in there, and I start off, the recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of cocoa. I start off with 4 to see how I like it, and if I taste it and it's not doesn't have enough of that chocolatey taste, then I add another teaspoon. I gradually add them to taste. So if 5 isn't enough for you, then you could add more, but I wouldn't do any more than 6. So you're just gonna mix this up, and you want it to, and you can scrape the sides as you go. So when I pull this up, so you'll see, that's sort of the you want it to be fluffy, I guess, this is the way to describe it. So I'm just going to take a taste. And I put 4 in there, and it's, it's good, but I know my family will like going by that taste, so I'll just add 1 more. So I'm gonna let that mix up, and you want it to be nice and almost like a Cool Whip consistency, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And that looks good. So then we have our pie crust, and yes, that was my daughter laughing in the background. Sorry about that. Okay, so then we have this right here, okay, and I'm going to take the beater off. And that is done. Okay, then you're just going to scrape out and just kind of fold that back in if you got any. So by itself, it is very rich. You can add Cool Whip on the top if you want. I do not have any Cool Whip. Or you can make it out of heavy whipping cream to make your own, which I've done before. I was like, oh darn it, I didn't get any Cool Whip, but I have heavy whipping cream, so I made my own. As long as you have sugar and vanilla, you can do your own. And okay, but you don't want to whip heavy whipping cream too much, because then you get butter. So okay, so that is French silk pie, and like I said, the most consuming part of this pie is the eggs. But if you have a KitchenAid, it makes it way easier. I used to do this pie before I got the KitchenAid, and I think my husband bought it for me when our kids were babies, so I've had it for a long time. I would have to sit there with my hand mixer 5 minutes each egg. So needless to say, it got a little bit tiring. And after I got this, it was a breeze to do that, because you just set it and wait for the timer to go off. I always set my oven timer for each 5 minutes. So if there's any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. But this is a fabulous pie to take anywhere, to a family gathering, or just for your family itself, a nice way to end a meal. Again, it is very rich, so small slices are are probably the best. Now, if you're my grandfather, on the other hand, wanted a whole pie to himself. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.